Let's do it in public with Carlos. Hello.
Hello, hi Igor, how are you?
Do it in public. You have nothing to hide. Start using the internet. Join the ride.
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great. Happy to be here with you to spend a little bit of time getting to know you better, and of course, joining your very awesome uh, internet content format, which is Do It in Public. So yeah, excited to be here.
Nice, nice. It sounds like you prepared intro like for this podcast.
Well, I'm a good improviser, so that's one of
So
my
you're a good
skills. Yeah,
speaker.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, yes.
Okay, so let me start with like backstory. So how I met Carlos. So I saw a picture of him on Twitter with a table, like cardboard table that was saying I'm launching on Product Hunt, something like that. And
Yes,
I had like the same thing like a month before that. So I
exactly.
just tweeted something like I did the same, like it worked, so it's cool.
Yeah.
And we started tweeting since then. I remember we also exchanged a few videos in DMs, so we kind of.
Yes.
So it's weird. Like I'm meeting people through videos now, through messages, but it also works. So I kind of knew you already. Okay, so I knew that you launched Shelf, so we can
Yeah.
discuss like what is Shelf is and how the launch was. So let's start with like who are you, what are your background, and how you
Of course.
got here, and what you're building and what your probably vision. A lot
Of
of questions
course.
to discuss.
So, no problem. So, my name is Carlos Virreira. I am a human born in Argentina who lived most of its life in a small country called Bolivia, the
Mhm.
center of South America, the lungs of the world. I lived close to the Amazon until I was around 15.
Oh.
And then I stumbled upon a student exchange program and decided to enroll. A family from the Netherlands say, "Hey, this kid drives motorcycles. He looks cool. Let's bring him over." And I came here and I never looked back ever since. So I've been living in the Netherlands since then. Uh, and I am a maker. I'm a creator. I like to create with this thing. I like to create with skateboard, with the guitar. I like to paint. I like to make things. Oh, nice, Igor. Oh, beautiful, beautiful piece. And I also like to create just value. So I started a company around 11 years ago with my best friend called Nikolai, who's from Bulgaria, uh, which was called Well Agency. So basically a done-for-you code shop in the Netherlands. And over the years, I've seen a lot of changes within the market and stuff like that, and maybe my enthusiasm dropping a little bit on the let's do the same dance 100 times. And I always had a I always looked into software as with the typical thing that all my agency co-founders were looking at. It seems like every co-founder on agency wanted to make software, and every software guy wanted to run an agency. So I thought it was an interesting thing. And I am building Shelf, and Shelf is a product, is an infrastructure tool for a very boring industry, which is called asset management. Basically, asset management is the registrations of objects that belong to an organization.
Okay.
So to make it a little bit more obvious, I was just on the phone with oil and mining company that have offshore boats which are full of equipment. They must perform. If they don't have a spare part, that whole operation.
Oh, sorry. Are you here? Oh.
Oh, I,
Hey.
yeah,
So
no, no problem. No, what I meant to say is that uh, it seems like uh, these companies, if they don't have access to the right equipment and spares, they're going to have issues with their production or with their value creation. So
sorry, Carlos. Do you see my screen
yeah,
now? Is it recording?
yes,
Oh,
I
cool.
see your screen.
Nice.
I
Do
don't
you
know
see
if I'm
Shelf?
being recorded. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So what I was saying, Igor, was that we saw an opportunity to create a tool, a registry, an asset registry for companies that works with QR codes. The reason why is because in the asset management space, most companies work with barcodes, meaning that you needed specialized hardware to scan and to interact with them. So the opportunity that we found is like, hey, let's make a platform that empowers companies to quickly create an asset inventory and database that they can produce their own codes, and that those codes can allow them to interact with the database. That's the base idea from which we started. And funny enough, the agency that I used to run and I still run, we went asynchronous and remote, like all of a sudden. So that meant that I had staff members that were, for instance, I was sending monitors, laptops, chairs, desks all over the world. And I was paying for insurance on those assets, where the insurance company kept saying, oh, we estimate that the value of your assets is so much. But my point of view was like, no, if I have a registry and I have a value for each asset, I can get a better rate. So that's basically it. We decided to build it as an open source software. And we have been live for around 3 months and have around 400 user accounts so far. So that's
300?
400.
Okay, 400. Cool.
Is there like an emergency happening close to you?
It's often happening. I think there is some bases nearby. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'm just glad you're aware of it. But yeah, Igor, that's what I do. So that's Shelf. So
can you explain more like this connection? So you said that you have an agency and you have like the product, and the agency is like what?
So the agency is called Whale Agency, like WHALE, whale, like animal, yeah, like whale agency, well, and then you can type agency, yeah, and yeah, those that's it. But man, nothing compared to Parallax. We're a 5-people company, small company, working with a couple of clients, like a lot of universities, mostly in the Netherlands. And we build, like, we do UX, UI, and coding for them. This is a company where we're starting to like lower it off a little bit more. And I managed to convince my team to, of course, like join the journey of building Shelf with me.
Nice. Okay, and how much like people do you have in this agency?
At the moment, we're 5 fixed positions, and we have like people collaborating on and off, like around 1 or 2. Yeah.
Okay, so it's your team, right?
Sorry?
It's your team now, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Nikolai. Yeah, co-founder.
That's Nikolai. Yes, exactly. So yeah, man. So that's a Whale Agency, and of course Shelf and what we're doing, and yeah, it's very it's just interesting for us. It's like a first time to be doing anything with open source. So it's kind of funny because we owe our career to open source, meaning that like our first clients we got were for WordPress sites and let's call it like installing things that were out in the wild and configuring them. But now we have the opportunity to be on the build side of things and to create open source software that can be used by any company to run their own asset management directories. So it is an interesting world. The companies that we get to talk with are very random in their industries. So it can be from a small library to an oil company to a chiropractor studio that wants to make sure that they know all their beds and all their stuff. And it's just a fun place to build. It's not very fast moving, sexy. I would consider that the asset management space falls in the same category as like accounting software. High investment in time to get the stuff going. Churn, I suspect, is low because once you've put so much time on configuring a system, you are not going to be moving. And it seems like there are a lot of small firms in the space, like hundreds and hundreds. So that's why I wanted to play there and play with the open source angle.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's like close to these like calm businesses. I know that they all often also related to like boring areas because that's where there is a demand and not enough software. I don't know if you saw like Stefan, but he like is doing the same for accountants in Germany. So basically, like they use some huge like spreadsheet that is very difficult to use. So they automated it. So I think automation is pretty basic, but like what is difficult is to distribute this, like to convince them to
Exactly.
buy this. So they like also like doing the same, like they okay, so there are people who distribute for them, so like agents, so they basically
Exactly.
like teach like how to use the product. So basically also it's like referrals or something, right? In your case, like is it like contracts or sales, are they like normal SaaS or they want like to buy something for a year?
Yes. So I'm still trying to figure this out, Igor. So what I've seen is that a lot of companies would like to run their own on-premise installations of the software, and that allows, of course, for modifications. It's kind of like I would say it's similar to WordPress.org or WordPress.com, right? Like a lot of people have access to WordPress.com. They can create their own like little site on it, but once you start getting more serious, you maybe run like extend the CMS and hack it a little bit more. You're gonna like run it on your own infrastructure. So therefore, I think that there's a clear divide via the people that are trying to do, let's call it the garage optimization of assets. Like there's a group of people that want to do like the storage boxes, but there's also the companies that want to have like multiple location, multiple stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out what's the best go-to-market when it comes to sales here. Should I go for, and I think for entrepreneurs, it's very intuitive that the way to make, well, I don't like to talk in absolutes, but it seems to me that many entrepreneurs have figured out that to make the most revenue, you need to get the products to the largest array of customers possible. So you need to have like very broad entrance. But there's also the people that are like, hey, if you go on a one-to-one basis and you try to create a one-to-one solution, those deals, it's the same as having 500 small paying customers you can get at once.
Yes.
So my brain struggles with where I should focus on this.
Yeah, I think so. So in this like abstract case, I hear, or it's stuck. Can you hear me? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Carlos, say something.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, we gotta tell Pierre Rich how to fix his magic.
I
So
wanted
what
to
I
say,
was saying.
yeah. So I heard what you're saying. So what I was going to say. So in this abstract case, I would say that start with this like one-to-one things, just to learn as much as you can about these clients. But as you said, like it will cost like a 500 small deals, but it will cost also all your time, like or like a big bunch of your time, like to serve this client. So it's basically like service versus product, right? So you start doing service, but I think it makes sense, like because I don't know like this area. I don't know how like so people probably so they're afraid of Notion. I believe like a lot of them. So like what tools do they use? Like because there are a lot of cool questions.
SAP. They're gonna use like some SAP, some like enterprise software with like a lot of linked assets and like work order management systems. So I think the right angle here is to build something that integrates well with those systems, not trying to be like the golden sample, holy grail of data, but be more like a facilitator of a process. So that's what I'm figuring out as I'm building in this space. But always having like that dilemma of like, am I building a consumer product or am I building a business to business product? Is that even productive to think about? Is that even a thing? Like, aren't we just doing business with humans anyway? So like those are the stuff that go in my head and they dictate how the roadmap will get done. But I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, so I would say so. It's the same like with the social networks. Like to grow, you like at least what work on me. Like you need to find like a bunch of people who will just support you every day and whatever you do, and it really like changes a lot because they also like share their knowledge. Like this group of people for me, like I don't know if you know them all, but it's Dan, Alex, Sandra. Uh,
Hmm.
so and they all like teach me something. So like Sandra, like I jumped on a call with her and she told me about Product Hunt Launch. I never did it, so it was super helpful. Like Dan was guiding me through this like a Product Hunt Launch and also like daily like saying like you should like link here and there and you should do this and that. And the same like with Alex and with Dan, they were in private messages like directing me. So it's like very powerful. So why I like talking about this, I think it's the same like in sales. So basically find someone who probably, even if not the paying, someone who you're comfortable to work with, so you can just ask any type of questions that you want really quickly like to them. I mean they will use like your software, but you will ask like how do you this and how do you that and how you help
Exactly.
people you do this. And if it will only work if you like really like friends like with them, because otherwise they will see, oh, why this dude asking these questions,
Yeah.
selling me something more and more.
Yeah, they start to be a bit more like skeptical with your intentions. They're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what are your true intentions here? What's the question behind the question? Like, why are you asking
Mhm.
this?"
Yeah, so how
Yeah,
is it?
makes sense.
So you're working with them, and to work with them, you ask some questions, so you figure out like. So ideally, you work like with like few people like this, so you understand. Okay, like all of them ask me the same bunch of questions, so I can publish it now. Like I can create a guide, some kind of guide, or automate it, or something. And the cool thing that if you build an open source, you can publish this guide and say your open source community now you can follow this too. So
Yeah,
I would do this. At least that's my like go-to playbook right now.
nice. Yeah, I think the open source playbook is good. I think that I've seen some other guys that are like just dropping in like ideas. Oh, somebody needs to build an open source version of this thing, of that thing. So I think a little bit of a trend. And if I may share my uh, hypothesis here,
Hmm.
is that like I love how you have statements for stuff. Like you're like, oh, like your company is a media
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
This. So for me, I think it's like we will not know what's true and not true very soon.
yeah.
So from content to words to music to synthetic voices, the trust will be the most valuable asset that there is, and that the trust on the persons that are running the organizations become extremely important. So what you are doing is moving 200 people to go on Twitter to build trust, to build this mob is amazing, and it's really how it should be, because uh, in if everybody can make a cake, then you're gonna have an issue with selecting whose cake are you gonna eat. Well, in this case, it's like if a lot of people can build products. Of course, there's like the whole you need to have taste, you need to know like this and that. But let's say that the barrier of entry will go down. So
Yeah.
you're gonna be looking for like those authentic connections. And I feel that perfection will be no longer interesting.
Oh,
So you will look for the true human connection, the imperfection. I think why do people go to the Tower of Pisa every year? Is because it's an imperfect tower. It's not perfectly placed. If it was a perfectly symmetrical thing, it's like it doesn't pull my attention. So that's why I think that yeah, that trust will become like one of the most important things, and to connect with people, to go with open source, to be as like the whole open startup movement. Man, if I get two software vendors, one is an open startup and the other one is not, I will 100% go for the open startup. At least I know that they are having their mind looking at the correct metrics, like
yes.
runway, who's responsible for what, do we have the expertise here to take care of that. So also like in the last years with all the SaaS acquisitions that they've been there have been happening, where companies enter with a very friendly tone and then they get bought up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, forget about all the agreements we did. Like now I'm the king now. This is the rules and you comply. I think that's gonna leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And there will be an opportunity for like open startups to take the spotlight. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like, so my question is, where did you learn all of this? I didn't expect that you understand it so well.
Oh, in general, Igor,
I
I
mean,
would
like
label
about trust, like about open source, like who show you all of this?
literally me just scrolling down on Twitter and just I in general, my wife critiques my ability to overly break down things and think too deep about stuff. But I was thinking like, okay, what is my reflection on the future?
Hmm.
I also recently became a father, so I have a small child, a daughter, who I look at her and I think, what sort of world are you gonna be living in if this is happening now? Is an extreme. When I was growing up, I thought, man, I wish I was born in the 70s or in the 80s, when all this cool music, long hair, don't care. Oh, but I'm happy I'm alive now, and I'm a 30-year-old guy now, which has a bit of perspective, but also has enough bit of time to play, to look at where the markets are going. So I reflected a lot on that. Like, what will my daughter be able to recognize a photo of her that was prompt fabricated of a
Hmm.
memory that I made? There's also a maker on Twitter that is making nighttime stories apps
Yeah,
for these kids. Amazing. But sometimes, when I look about my childhood memories, sometimes I think about a picture that reminds me of a moment. My daughter will not even know if that picture that might remind her of a moment, if it was real or not. But I know those pictures taken with a manual camera were real. Those are real moments of capture. So I thought we will live in an era of skepticism. We will need to create some sort of filters to know what's being thrown at us. So I thought trust will be the most valuable currency in the world for an individual. Of course, there's
yeah.
the actual currencies, but that's how I learned it, Igor, just by thinking, looking, reading, also checking your channel a little bit, I must say. But that's a taste I've acquired the last days. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So I never like studied it like that. Like the trust, like is the currency, but it's like makes a lot of sense. So that's what we are like preaching. I mean, like that. Yeah, like you need the time like to like develop relationship with people. Like you need time to build a story. So it's all it doesn't happen like quickly. And how we can translate it, you building trust, like you're showing that you're actually doing something, or like you're doing something useful so people use it. So it's also like a way of showing trust, let's say so.
Yes, I think trust and imperfection is very important
Mm.
because, I mean, I don't, I mean, to a certain degree, I mean, I think that perfection is not interesting by itself, in my opinion. And I draw maybe like a correlation between like AI chess playing algorithms. I'm like, I don't find it interesting to watch two AIs play chess, but a human against an AI. So to have that risk of the mistake, the imperfection, is what makes it interesting. So I think that's my thoughts on building audience and trust. And of course, there's like a lot of very legacy ways to build trust in B2B space, like awards and accolades and recognition and investments and PR in general. But I think that having a like like a big footprint on social, it will pull people to you so much more effectively than running nonstop ads to
Mhm.
a certain extent, I think. So yeah, that's what I think about it. Yeah.
Mhm. And I wonder, do you know like big startup thinkers like Naval? Like, do you know Naval?
Yes, I know Naval.
Okay,
He's
good.
the brown Jesus. Yeah, of
Oh yeah,
course.
yeah, you tweeted about him. Yeah, so you know him. Okay, so do you know Jack Butcher or Butcher from
Oh,
Visualize Value?
no, I do not. I
Oh, okay.
should look into him. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting how you learn. So I wonder, because like it's very like similar to what like Jack Butcher saying. And what is interesting about him that so his like backstory. So he was working in the ad agency, and he was working for huge brands. Then he left this agency. He found his own agency, and he quickly realized that it's not scalable. Like it depends on his time, so he needs to like build products, but it's not smart to like build software. Like you can build an audience. So he basically what he did, he took what is already validated. It's some like cool quotes of people in startup world, and he visualized it in a very simple way. You probably saw this. It's like always black.
Yes, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I that format is so good, man. Yes.
Yeah, but it's genius. So that's the thing. So like people think probably that it's simple, like I can do the same, but it's like genius. So but it's genius that he used validated idea just to visualize it with his skill. And it's like, of course, a lot of this stuff went viral because it's already validated. And that's how he gained audience. And suddenly, this dude, he consulting companies like how to make their operation and sales, like in marketing. So his skill of visualization, like of making presentation, like he transformed it to the like consultant skill for companies or startups. And he basically like what he did, like he come to a company and say, here what you did wrong, like you served a client but you didn't get a testimonial, that's why you lost it, and you didn't reuse it for like another sale, so that's how you like didn't like use it for the full potential. And it's always like, the same rules but just applied to different companies, but it's also not scalable. So he just like create this all as a like courses, so they are paid. It's just like Notion files, let's say. So it's like
Yeah.
Notion files, and he has like free courses that are so like awesome. So I went through like free courses, and I
Oh,
was
really?
so amazed, and I learned so much. So I just bought a course just to say thank you.
Nice.
Because it was so amazing. So that's like something that we also like trying to do, like trying to create hypes around some like our knowledge, so we can monetize something else, like, and it will look like a good sale, but not like
Yeah. No,
pushy.
it's fantastic, and I think it's perhaps relates slightly to the. You made a post yesterday on Twitter where you were kind of diagramming some sort of a path flow of like ideation
Oh yeah,
to
yeah. I will show it.
distribution and all this stuff. And for me, those are the good ideas. Those are the great ideas, because I find that sometimes, like, as I'm opening my journey as becoming some sort of a, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking. I'm just talking to you, talking to people, sharing my thoughts, and you find that there is the balance between highly scripted and very like sporadic, very off of the moment. Like, oh, let me grab something. And I know that one thing that I'm starting to notice and why I'm so excited about ClipWing.pro, what you guys are doing, is because for me the most natural way to do and to operate is to just sit, look at myself in the camera, and just talk, just get stuff, because it like, and because we're like in a short economy, right? We're in a short attention span economy. I'm like, hey, if we can have a conversation, some sparks come up, and then we can just like generate some small content from it. Hey, that's fantastic. That's a more scalable way to approach it than to go in a very traditional, like overly planned approach. So I do think that ideation is important, but distribution, that's where the magic is at. And if you can like do it with the least time consuming efforts possible, you're winning. Yeah.
Well, cool. Okay, so are you ready for like this demo so I can show you, and I
Yes.
wonder how you will use it, and
Yes.
as you understand it so much, I think you will understand a few concepts too. Okay, let me share it. So I just published it like a few seconds before our call, so nobody
Really?
even opened this link yet.
The Momentum playbook. Yes.
Yeah, and can you like share the screen? So I wonder like how you will look at it.
Of course. Let me see. I'm gonna share a window. I don't know if it's working. Like, I don't do screen sharing here that much, but wait, let me see. Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, interesting. Igor, I might need to refresh my tab if it's okay with you.
Yeah,
One second.
sure. Yeah, I'll do it. I for some reason I can't hear your voice, but I see the video. Probably selected. Mm, oh no! I'm trying to figure out also how to change. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If
So,
you can see can you see my screen?
yes, yes.
Okay, great, nice. Okay, sorry to the viewers. Technical issues as from the technical people. Okay, so we're here in the Momentum playbook. Release more valuable content daily, and then we have my software systems content. We have website pages, micro products, features. Okay, so here's some definitions. What is content? What are releases? What is products? And what is momentum?
Yeah,
So
and so
content is
the thing
yeah.
that they are very important. So I think I will also add visualizations to add them like meaning. But let me explain, like as you like seen it the first time. So I think like this picture is very important. Like, can you scroll at the top?
Yeah.
So I'll talk in you. So yeah, so see like here we have like website, micro features. It's probably like difficult, but like blog articles, newsletter, support articles, social media feeds, like repositories. So it's basically like content that every startup needs. And content is a very broad word. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to formalize what is content. And basically what we say is that content is any file or URL in the internet. So it's very important to understand like this concept. So like your different pages of your website are different pieces of content or content files. Like different settings on the same page are also like different content files, like in this manner. So your goal is to release like this like valuable content daily, and also like that's why I'm explaining like what is release is. So release is like publishing this content to the target audience and making like announcement that it's available. So it's also understanding. So if you're not like published or released, like the content doesn't exist, right? So you must create it for yourself. Okay, so the next like important things like here, that product is just a content that is valuable for a specific group of people, and it's super important. So it's like a definition through like, so it's basically valuable content so that you created. So in this broad meaning, like any like URL that you created can be a separate product, and if it performs well, it means that it can be a product.
Okay, so in this case, you're making a differentiation between content and product. So you can have content that is non-valuable
Yes.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because, for instance, you could say that when you inspect our website code, we see that first placement up there as content, and we want to put some sort of a message. But you could also opt to not make that content into a product.
Right. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So you can take that choice, and then of course you have
because we should like explain. So we're saying like how to make products that people like. So I try to explain like every word. So what is product? So product is just a content that's like cool, like that worked. So I'll explain why later, like why.
I would. Sorry to interrupt, but I would maybe it's just I'm a very visual person. But like for instance, if these words. Okay, so release, if this was painted the same color as this, this as this, and like anything. So like a little bit of like a color coding thing, I think I would have clicked in my brain a bit faster. But
I think I think eventually we'll have it all in one picture. So I'll try to figure out like how to make this legend. But you're right, yeah. Okay, and so the last thing. So our goal with this like playbook or like this process is to gain momentum, and to also like what is momentum. So how we define it is like when just every day you have more and more measurable like progress. And that's mean momentum. So that's mean you're growing not linearly.
Yeah. I
So
think that. Do you think that there is? So when I think about releasing content and products, I also something that is in a lot in my head, Igor, is the compounding effect of it. I think that um, content does like it has the momentum, so it can help you push on the short term, but it can also help you pull on the long term as well. I think that content, like if you have a blog index with like 1,000 posts, like ranking on like a bunch of keywords, as new key phrases arise, as new algorithm changes, perhaps on search engines, whatever, those all become new potential ways to find your business. So I think in the formula doesn't really enter. Like I think the compounding of valuable products comes as a result of the CRPM, of the content release product momentum, or like this releasing of valuable content daily. But it's something I think about a lot when I think about investing time into creating content. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a big concept, and it will be like explained like with a simple word. Also, I didn't use compound effect word, but yeah, I'll use something similar. Okay,
Exactly.
I think we can jump. Let's go. So let's go to the playbook so you understand how it will work. It's what
Exactly.
you mentioned. So it's not finished, but it will show like this: ideate, create, distribute, measure, repeat thing. But it explains like every step now. So what does it mean like ideate? Or what
Nice.
does it mean like to create? And let's go to let's go to ideation, like the first step, so you understand. So our goal, remember, so the only what this playbook says, it's release more valuable content daily. So the only thing that you should do is release first of all, release more content. uh, so it said that content is any file or URL, and now it's also say like what is like the typical meta description of this file, like what you should fill. And here you go. So it said that every like piece of content, no matter what it's creating, first of all, it has target audience, like for whom you're creating. But
Yep.
also like in the broad meaning, I also explained that you can create content for your customers, you can create content for your team, you can create content for influencers to get partnerships, and you can create content for founders, like building public to build cool products. So
Yep.
it's basically like four audiences that I see, like, so it's four, but usually it's like two primary. So it's for clients and team, and you just repurpose all this content for everyone else. Uh,
Yeah. And exactly. And a big idea that you brought in is that your internal communication is also content that can help somebody like form a connection with you and your company. So those are on unutilized assets, I would call them. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
and we will see like more and more practical. It's later, but you got it right. Cool. So the next, so every content like should promise some change. So it should exist for some reason. So we should think like why we creating this content in the first place. Because that's will be connected to the results of the content, because if we don't have any promise, we won't have results. So
mm,
basically we promise something and we just see how it worked. So that's what promise and metrics what about. And also like one I think important thing is that every content should like have call to action. Yeah, like what is next, not just like a dead end, what a reader or consumer should do next. It can be like going offline or something. And also one I think it's a complex concept, but very important, is like every piece of content it's great when it have title, description, and image. That's when you can share it all over around. So you have a title which shows a promise, you have description what is in it, and you have image to sell it, to
yeah.
click it. So it's basically optional attributes to distribute.
Yeah. It's like a YouTube thumbnail. Now the YouTube thumbnail misses the short description. It's mostly image title, but those two things are what drives clicks, right?
Yes.
Like it's like like the intrigue, the story here, like what's behind it. The image looks interesting. So I think that the to define attributes of what it means to present something well is good for the for let's say for the guidance. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a bit like philosophical, but now we will get like practical. So now I'll show like the example. So if you want to create content, here is something that we pre-created for you. So if you don't know what to create, here's the hints. And you can see like you can create a practical tutorial, you can record a feature demo, you can show product update, you can create case study, you can compare with competitor. And what is cool, so it's not yet saying like the format. It's not saying like you should write an article. It's just saying like select your problem, like what you're going to solve. And you can say, okay, I see practical tutorial. Okay, I can do a tutorial how to use feature in Shelf, like something that people always asking. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's how to filter by categories on your Shelf asset management thing.
Nice,
Yeah, there you go.
Something that you're like telling with your words like too often. Like, okay, so something to categorize. So let's say you like selected. Okay, so my idea is how to categorize like these assets. Okay, so now go to the next step. Scroll to the bottom, and click content form.
Content forms. Yeah. So I find the right format to explain this goal. Yeah.
Right, and your goal is not even like one format, so you can just create as many as you can, but like select the ones that makes more sense for this like type of idea and that are quickest to get the feedback. Something like that. And here's where we can talk about compound effect. You can see here aggregated forms.
Exactly.
So basically, what I'm trying to say here, like, don't try to build aggregated forms like block, like a performance block with SEO strategy from the very beginning. Every block consists of a number of articles. So create articles first. Like you mentioned, like SEO strategy, it's a different piece of content. Like create a SEO strategy, like later, like with the smallest pieces, like every day, like add keywords, like probably it's atomic, like thing. Okay, so let's go to your practical thing. Sorry for talking too much. So you decided you want to build like this, like how to categorize asset for Shelf. Go to this like content forms on the top. So here basically you need. So what is suitable here? So I think it's article, right?
Either an article or let me see, a screen recording a video. Some sort of way. Yeah, we can go for an article. Yeah.
So a bit different, but I think for this use case, so I think the default like thing is like kind of article, but also like going like forward, like how you like distribute this article for existing users.
Like if I make an article on this, I would distribute it. On our blog, or I would send like personal emails to people, put it on Twitter.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and email here, it's a different time of content because, you can basically, in this sense, you can write one thing on paper and convert it to the article and email. But it's important to understand that you transform one idea to just different formats. So now it's not just email sent or not just a blog post. Now you can like send an email with announcement. That's how you distribute. But you can send email with the content of the post, right? So you can send the post itself. So it's different, like also form. And now you can just like, okay, or probably I can even make a landing page that will explain it, like as it's often like case, and I already know like all the answers. So I could put it as a landing page so they like register, I don't know, upgrade to some paid feature.
Exactly. No, makes a lot of sense. And it could also, like you guys are saying, like it could also be a tweet. Like you could also. There you go. Yeah.
So going forward, so you will read it, but go back. So as you mentioned, so now you can say like everything can be everything from here. So that's where the magic is. Is like your article can be like pull request, your landing page can be form. We'll test like every combination and we'll show like what exactly it means. But that's like the magic. So every file can be converted to other file, and you can also convert it to different target audience. The same knowledge. So that's how you distribute, or you can like create a mock-up with this feature to click it through. I don't know.
Of course. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, cool. Okay, can you scroll to the bottom now? Let's see like what is there. Okay, so the big ideas, as you said. So we can. I probably simplify. So as for subatomic forms, so what is this? So what I meant here is like it's something like when you build in something, you can share pieces of progress with someone. So yeah, we already using Twitter with you, but like people more used like to use Slack or like their chats, like where they're talking with friends, like how they build something because they're afraid of publicity. I don't know. So it's like another way. So it's like a different way to distribute content while you building, like to get the like response or probably like Twitter DMs, like the same thing. So what you're saying, like every piece of content when you're building it for like few hours, you can also like to turn it to like these subatomic things. Basically, you can write messages on how you progress, or you can ask.
I like the concept of like atomic, subatomic. Like I think I saw it in the design space as well with like atomic design, like very
Oh yeah, there
composable
is.
design.
Yeah.
And it's just a good thing, yeah, because you can also start like yeah, like here what I'm thinking is like the goal of contents is is to build audience to increase your the amount of your target audience that is following. I would think that because
Oh.
it's on the top of the pyramid, right? Like everything we do, like
Mhm.
if I do subatomic form of content, the end goal should be to just build an audience that is relevant for what I'm building.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that, or do you see it differently?
No, so yeah, we see the I see it different. So here, like the main word is like performance. So it's like a magic word, basically that you should figure out, like performance of your content, and that's like what connected with the goal, like as we discussed. Like I creating this page so people like register to Momentum, or
Exactly.
I created this page so people build their product using my playbook, or I can build it. I don't know, so people retweet it. So that's the thing. Like, if there is no goal, there is no like chances to see if it was successful. Or you can
Exactly.
just you can see something is successful. It's also cool. But I mean, like, it's better to set some goal, because if you set the goal, you say, okay, so my goal is actually to register to Momentum. Okay, I will write this article the way so they register to Momentum, and it's very important. So like, and also like call to action. Okay, my call to action should like deliver the promise. So okay, so it should be sign up to Momentum, something like that.
Exactly.
So basically, and we should measure performance, and we should see like pieces of content in the broad sense, like that are performant. Probably landing page, probably email, probably article. You see that, and I explained it to Lara. So we discussed like one help article, but let's say you created 10 help articles, and you like distributed them all the same way, like through emails, like you mentioned. But you see that one of these 10 was very like highly, so a lot of people open it, percentage of people open it, they shared it, whatever, they commented it. So you understand, okay, so there is something in it. So that's when you need to turn it into a bunch of different content. So you should like
Hmm.
repurpose it, and you should go back. Okay, I have article now that performant. What I can do with it? Okay, so now it's time to make a landing page, or now it's time to make a workshop. So it can be all very interesting now.
Okay, that's very valuable because I can tell you how I do things, like, and how I've been doing things also is that I firstly look at keywords, keyword volumes. I look at competitions and I'm like, okay, this is a keyword I want to build
Mm.
authority for. I write content for it. Later, I look into my search console. I'm like, hey, what's being picked up with impressions? I only care about impressions at this stage. It's like, oh, these these keywords are having a lot of impressions on my site. So that means that I have a potential to climb up in organic. And what I do is that from the best posts, I make video versions of them. So that's kind of like what you're saying about content repurposing, right? Like you look at your winners. Maybe once you found some winners, you're like, okay, let's squeeze more juice out of this. So let's find ways to create extra products or extra forms of content that we can do here. Uh, but for instance, like how would you do, if I may like ask, like let's say you have a great post on how to uh, like how to create like your website in minutes with momentum and it's ranking really
I have
high.
example.
You would make a landing page for it.
Yeah, so let me tell you. So it's probably will blow your mind, but like we are now at this moment, we repurposing my one of my posts. Let's say so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
Uh,
Yes.
do you
So
see?
you made a post, I think, on Reddit or something like that with like with MVPs for non-technical founders. Is that the one that you're gonna be
Right,
repurposing?
right. It's not that we're going, but let me show you. Do you see my screen?
Wait, let me see. I have to. I'm on a single monitor, so I have to stop my screen sharing for a
Oh, sorry.
bit. Yeah. No, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So you can see, so it's our startups, like yeah, it's 1.4 million, so it's my biggest flex. But this year, uh, so you can see it's second, and it's close to first.
Man, indeed it makes a lot of sense. In what format are you going to pick for the repurposing here?
Yeah, and I will show you because it's like not format, so it's like the whole like universe out of it. Like see this post. So it's really how it was. So I just posted random set of thoughts on Reddit. I didn't expect anything, so I didn't even check the grammar well. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's like blew up. So and it's like very popular. So I saw, oh, okay, so it's like valuable knowledge. And like the next things that I did is I like created a YouTube video. So yeah, so you can see
Very good.
it. Oh,
Oh well, that's already great. Some lo-fi.
yeah, so you can
Man,
see,
okay,
and
Igor, where are you here? What is this place?
it's Turkey, and the operator is Dmitry, our CEO.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic.
And that's how I kickstart the channel. So it's also important. So that's how I kickstarted the channel out from the Reddit posts. I'm kickstarting my aggregated content, like let's say so from the Reddit posts from different. And all I do, I'm like telling the article, but I learn it like all the words. So I polish it. I make sure that it's really like sounds great. Uh,
Yeah.
and I put like dozens of reference here, like from other like indie hackers and other guys. So like basically like a bunch of content.
Oh,
That's
I
how it
think it's
started. Like, so video also works. So I distributed it again like Twitter, LinkedIn. So it's showing good metrics. But like generally speaking, we just understood that like this idea here are they big, like that you should landing page without like MVP. You should only build a very small set of features. Like you should validate with design files only. So design is the same matter of the as a code. Like here, you should validate a lot. So basically, we see that people find it interesting, and like that's what basically lead us to Nano. So that's what I was trying to say. So because of this like content, we created the whole company Nano. Because that's how we validated our knowledge, and we turn it to the website. We turn it to the dozens of articles to the moment, to the hundreds of tweets, and all we do and all we will do like for the next I don't know 2 years is telling this thing because it's very hard to explain to people. So that's why I'm trying to like come up with these files things just to explain something.
But Igor, how do you believe the world will look like in 2 years? Like, what are the trends that you see? Do you see that there's more people gonna start their own companies, and you are like, hey, we can be the Sherpas here, we can be the guiders of this new universe. We've done it. We
Yeah,
have an archive of to back us up.
yeah.
And is that why you're entering in this angle in this space, or is there some big or something else, some other insight?
Yeah. So we found like this. Uh, so I think what we found is like fundamental knowledge instead of like specific knowledge. So we didn't learn how to like build startup.
Yeah.
We learned how to learn to build startup the best way. We
Mm.
basically we learned how to learn. I think
Yes.
that's the thing. So basically, that's our advantage, and that's why we say it like it's $1 billion company because it scales and it's like fundamental. And what I mean by fundamental, we can apply the same learnings, and that's what we are going to prove, like to the any creative skills. So we say that like coders, like not like no longer like the kings, like they used to be theirs, but they now just one of the content creators. So they are the same as designers, they're the same as the
Yeah.
musicians, they're the same as the comedians. I don't know, whatever. Like because it's all kind of same matter. It's content,
Yeah.
and all you need is create performant content. And basically, like with this like simple system, I think we'll come up with like very stupid simple process. I think like most of the people will ignore it because it's like weird, it's difficult. But some people they will get, and it will be really simple. So like I show it to you. So that's the process. Like all you need every day, you need just to release content files and make sure they perform well. So that's all you need. So you can be like very limited in your like understanding of the world, and you could say, okay, I need to create files. That's how I will become rich. Okay, what
Yeah.
files can I create? And I will show. That's the files that you can create. Here is landing page. Here is the goals of the landing page. Here is examples of the landing page. Here is how we can create it for you. Something like that. So so this piece of content, and now the next goal is to measure it performance. Okay, and basically it's like showing you your daily work and type of work that you can do to magically like monetize your skills, like to learn all this like stuff.
I think I think we've put similar conclusions with like
Yeah.
the dev centralization of power that we've had, and that this is starting to crumble down with
Oh,
low code, no code. And
AI.
I always used to say, not hopefully not taking like negatively, but I always said that we live in a dictatorship in SaaS.
Yeah.
It's like the devs dictate. You can't innovate if they say no. They're the gatekeepers of
Yes.
value creation. And now I see that changing. And I think, hey, you have made the right thing. It's as much as valuable as the script writer or the marketeer or the person that is pulling interest to you, because the barrier of entry has dropped down. So when there's too much choice, you have the paradox of choice. You need to cut through the clutter, and that's why my gamble is on authenticity and imperfection as being a very big driver of, let's call it, attachment towards a person as well, towards a
Yes.
persona. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, right. So to answer your question, so yes, we found like this stupid, like from one side it's stupid simple framework. From other side, it's very difficult to understand. So it's very interesting like thing. But like we will prove like that it works. So we studied. So basically, we'll create case studies like following our own playbooks. So all we need to do is create the case studies and share them in different formats. Show that they perform. I mean that people trust that we are legit. Like somehow, basically, like click some button probably.
Yeah.
And that's what it means. Like if it works, it means like everyone can just apply it. I mean, everyone, like some musician who worked in bakery all his life and then understand that it's valuable. Now he just applies this playbook, and he understand that he can write songs as a service. He can create like a lot of people need this. He can understand that in order to like win clients, he needs to share a lot of free samples or like please like famous people so they repost this content. So it's like gives like you said gatekeepers, like yeah, it gives keeps all key gatekeepers away, because we say no gatekeepers, like you can do it yourself, you don't need anyone. Just use this. Yes, I mean you don't need anyone to create, but you really need community around you to create fast. But basically,
Yes.
you can move along. Like you should be not dependent on anyone.
No.
Right?
No. Not even like you should not even have a platform risk of being
Yeah.
deplatformed, in which you should also like cast a wide net with your content. So I like that. I think it's really cool, and I think it gives momentum a bit more meaning to me in which stage of the entrepreneurial journey are you supposed to utilize this tool. And it seems to me it's more like on the early ideation stage to
Sure.
come up with that first feature, to come up with that landing page in seconds, to like just have your go to market, and where do you want to? What are the features that you guys are working on Momentum? Are you on a feature stop? Are you like what's going on in the engineering design side of things on
Yeah,
Momentum?
can you please? Okay, I think I'll share you. Yeah, so like to one moment to quickly respond. So it's like on pause just because we don't have enough development power, let's say so. But it will change soon. Uh, do you see it again? Hey, Carlos. Oh, hey, hey, hey.
Okay, now I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Let me start sharing again.
Oh, wait.
Oh, where this? Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so now I think like the next thing that I built for Momentum is like this. So it will be something like Momentum file system, like Momentum FS, because like see what's going on here. I think it will be like the main driver of traffic to Momentum pretty soon.
Very.
So,
Yeah.
so here, let's say like you launch startup. So we'll ask you like for a like pitch, like or something. The next step will be like here, like okay, so now create your files or like feature your files if you already have startup. So what you can do, you can like create like websites. So you can create multiple websites if you have multiple website. You can list like the pages here. But if you don't have a website, we say launch a page with a momentum, and it will open our like momentum page and allow them to launch new page, but they can launch 10 pages. So that's our idea, not like one page, like launch 20 pages like if you need. So that's the thing. Are you still here?
Yes, I am.
But we will not only like promote momentum, so momentum will be like a go-to tool, but we don't have all these products, right?
No.
Even like for website, we say here launch with momentum, but you can also use like webflow,
Yeah, of course.
framer, or whatever. So we will like show how to do the things without us. So for example, like for blog, we don't have a blogging platform, but we will show like use Ghost, look, use like other platforms. But
Exactly.
very soon, we will have a button to create an article in Momentum.
Nice. Yeah.
Here and now like another big thing. So now when you launch like your product in Momentum, what you already have, it's one landing page. So you launch website with one page. You have a newsletter with one email. It's a welcome email. So we create a welcome email for you once a user sign up. Then you have an analytics. We connect analytics immediately, so you don't need to connect anything. And we also help you with social media feeds, so you can distribute it.
Nice. Yeah. So it's like a good let's content and ideation operational system and kind of like distribution place.
Yes, yes, and also like we generate, for example, a SEO image for a landing page, so we can put a design file here, like it's your design file that you can repurpose to. Why not?
Yeah. I
Uh,
get.
so, so that's where the future of momentum. So I'll soon. So it's pretty simple. I think will be to code it like this, but I think it will be
Mm-hmm.
very powerful because it's like a simple content, simple interface, and we can show a lot of examples so people finally understand what is going on. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I think and the reason why I ask is because I played with Momentum like at very early stages. That's how I also got to know you and but I think that this is like a super competitive space, but I do think like if you have like indeed your
Oh,
like your tribe of people that are very excited about it, that they can build a lot of beautiful things with it. Yeah.
but did you see like this part of momentum?
Yes, that's a part I know of. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like the core part that we are. So everything that we're doing is to get this fit here. Like
Yeah.
it's basically content files. So it's content file from Twitter, but I want to have content files from everywhere, like Notion, Loom, uh, here. So the question is how to make people post it, and it's very hard when you don't have like thousands of people to engage and so on. So we say, okay, just launch a landing page. and use it as a feature, but we will feature your post here.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I should get that connection going on for my content to sync it
That,
on Momentum for sure.
so basically that's how we helping them to use this like core product, which will have a lot of value eventually. And here, if you go here, so we'll show like you can create pages, and but we will also say, okay, if you have like existing blog, you can add your blog and you can list your articles here. So it will be like a central place to list all your articles from all your places. But every time when you will add a link here, we will feature it here.
Nice.
Yes. And also what is important here is that every website already have analytics, so it's open startups. So that's where we will evolve the conversion rates. Like so we will show a lot of interesting stuff here.
I like it, man. I think it's
Okay.
good. I think I need to like capitalize a little bit more on it.
Yeah,
I
so it's difficult, but let me tell you something futuristic. If you are talking about the future,
yes.
I'll tell you where it's going. So let's go back here. So let's imagine once, like you can already put your shelf here. I can put momentum. It will be a bit confusing, but like every startup, I can put Paralect here, for
Yeah.
example. And as soon as someone fill this repository of files, create product, basically, monetize, what we can, so at this moment we own all this data, or at least links, so we can somehow scrape this data.
Yeah.
So basically what we have here is the representation of all your knowledge. Okay, can you get it? So it's all like if you build like startup and you put every link from a startup here, it's all that you have. It's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So it's not the operational system, it's more like a repository. It's kind of like a collection of like I've always wondered if we could visualize where our content has gone to, like in a map or something like that, right?
Mhm.
So, uh, and I think there's a lot of like data scientists that have a lot of charts for this. But like, imagine if indeed you can have like a small distribution universe of all the content, all the links, everything you've done, because yes, for individual builders, like it's really cool. But I think once you're moving up a little bit into small companies, usually the bosses are like, yeah, well, what's the impact of your time investment? You're like, well, I have this one place where these guys are kind of crawling and estimating reach and this and that into one place. That would be freaking cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right. So basically, you can just use it is like repository, and you can see some signs like I don't know. It can be anything. Like it can be design file, like your Figma files viewed 1 million times for some reason. Why
Yeah.
not? Like it's a piece of content that you can reuse. So
Of
it's
course.
very you basically can monitor what performance based on what you expect from it, and you can just see the signals and use it. So it's like crazy powerful. But like again to the future, so what it you can have like Igor's content here, so you can have
Yeah.
all my knowledge here. What it means, you can ask any question to AI.
Wow. Yeah, that's I've seen a lot of that going. And is that an area that you've spent a little bit of time already researching, like how these like large language models work, like reading some papers? I went into some rabbit holes, and I gotta say it's pretty darn cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know nothing about AI. Let's say so. So I know a lot of like technology and all that stuff, but I don't know, for some reason AI wasn't my thing for a long time. But like our chief R&D officer Vladimir, like who is like talking with every day, he's like knows everything. So that's
Nice.
basically how I learn all the stuff, and that's how I can rely on the like with the whole team for that. And I was worried about this like for a long time. Like I'm a CTO, but I don't know AI. But now I understand. I know like fundamental stuff. Like AI is good, but not like as a fundamental stuff.
Well, you mentioned Naval earlier, right? So
Yes.
one of my favorite statements from Naval is that specialization is for insects, and uh,
Wow.
in in this case, I think that yes, being a generalist at life and being a generalist in the fundamentals. So if you're not gonna read like I don't know, man, SEO 2023 guide. No, read about how search engines work. Read about the fundamentals of how these things are supposed to be put together to gain a little core concepts that you can play with, because it's kind of like the dish of the day, right? Like tomorrow it's like a different name, and but maybe it relates to something that you've deeply thought of. So therefore I think it's like, I, as a CTO, I think that you need to be a bit more like on the high level of stuff sometimes. But then again, I am a guy that is like, I think that titles don't really matter that much.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
okay. So also like a different use cases just to like show you why the power is there. So basically, power in data. So if we have the data, we are Google. So let's say it's easy because like we are not competing with Twitter, we're competing with Google. We indexed all the content for like related to startup creativity. So it's basically all the content. Now. So it's not just you can talk with me like you can say like what is Igor interested in recently, what beliefs Igor changed during the last year, what mistakes did he done, like what was wrong, like following
Yeah.
a general opinion. So it's one thing, but another thing, you can like open like startup like ClipWing. You can show all the history, all the performance of all the content, and you can just say, can I copy the marketing strategy for my startup?
It's like,
Yeah,
that's a language model now. It's like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, you can try it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like if we have, what we can do already. So just to show that it's practical. So we already have a website with like Google Analytics kind of links called Wave. So it collects like views, countries, like referrals, like of the
Very nice. Yeah.
users. What we can do with it already, we had like product hunt launches. So we can say this product hunt launch led to 8K unique views.
That's great. Yeah, those, I think attribution is one of those hot topics. Like, at least in performance marketing,
Yeah.
attribution was like king, right? Like, we got so spoiled. We knew the every path and touch points to attribute to a sale, but who the heck is doing content impact attribution? And it's a great idea because it's kind of like, hey, uh, you have the content layer, the data capture layer, the data visualization layer, and you have also what that you say that you can crawl out from your platform and go extract stuff to add into your AI or to your conversational interface. Seems very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just because we have all the data. So once you have the data, it becomes interesting. And I think we have like a closer and closer the way to get this data, basically to ask people to share these links because it makes sense to them.
Now I get it, man.
Okay.
Momentum. It's like, if people are sharing their thoughts and you have like this data, you have a lot of like unstructured data
Yeah.
from which you can capitalize on, like something like a vector database or something like that, which
Oh,
works.
yeah.
Uh,
Sounds smart.
yeah, like vector databases are like just a little bit a little bit like, we work with structured data, right? Like, you say like, what's your profession, and you just input something from like a list, and but now it's like you can query on unstructured data. So I think unstructured data has a great moment now. So if people can be sharing their thoughts and sharing all the content that they've done, and you have it there, I think that you will be able to indeed have a conversation with your data, which is much more interesting than if it was siloed on just your Google Analytics environment or on a spreadsheet. So
Okay, yeah, it's cool that you understood it. So yeah, we can continue this conversation. One last idea that I want to put in your head, as you already understand this. I said like that product is content, right?
yeah,
But like the better way to say it, the product is the specific index of your contact files. Think about it for a bit.
yeah, it's kind of like the result. It's the end product of the many it's like, how do you call it? How can we do this like in like you're using the subatomic atomic analogies? Like what would be the like a being like a human or like an object is form of atoms in the physical world, right? So it's like is the
Oh, molecular. Yeah, so it's basically like created from atoms, right?
yes, yeah. So you have ha interesting. I think it's a good end thought. I think that indeed is something I have to think about, and
Yes.
sometimes the content can introduce inspiration for the end product as well. So actually, you could work it in a two-directional way. You can do product, and then from the product do content, or you can do a lot of content, see what's sticking, and then build a product on top of what worked, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so that's another way to like look at the process. So that's really nice.
Okay, so practically, what I wanted to say. So let's say like you have a successful micro product that drives a lot of traffic. You have I don't know, open source repository is it also popular, and you have blog articles that also are like very popular in this area. So what I mean here, you can have these like successful pieces of content and to repurpose them into like one thing for specific audience, and it will be a product. But what it means, you can create 10 different products out of successful content. So that's like the big idea of these indexes, that you like build once, sell twice.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's like I don't know if your Twitter algorithm has put you in the corner of the programmatic SEO guys. Have you
No,
heard of
yeah.
those? So they're like guys that are trying to say that you can do content at scale based on like just why are you making one blog post? Why don't you generate 5,000 based on the
Oh
same
yeah, yeah,
seed?
I saw
And
it.
so I think they're also thinking about repurposing content, but also go like going a bit like horizontally with target markets, right? It's like you have a great content piece that works for the medical industry, maybe with a slight modification, it's gonna work for I don't know oil and mining. Who
Oh
knows?
yeah, yeah, you're
Like
right, you're right.
so those sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
nice, Igor.
Yes, sorry for such a long conversation, but yeah, it's so interesting that you got it. But yeah, you ended with a very interesting thing, that it's again, so our goal is to enable as much people as we can to create a cool stuff, and like a lot of value is in these boring industries. So if there are creative people in boring industries and they can understand how to register Stripe and accept
Yeah,
payments, they can like change like the world. So that's basically what's happening. So it's very interesting, like you said, that they can learn from techie guys. Like so, that's what we're trying to do.
nice. Well, Igor, I just think it's pretty clear for you that I'm a fan, I'm a supporter of what you
Yeah.
guys do. I think that ideas are extremely important for changing the direction of the world. I think that you guys are idea dealers, and I love that. And I like that you are creating this movement. I saw open startups, and now I see open everything here. Like go extreme open. I love extreme, like this sort of extreme obsession, and I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to like see more of the people that like, because I'm sure there's a couple of people in your company that you don't expect them at all to be comfortable within this new
Oh, I love it.
and I think that you as a leader are being a true leader for leading by example and by perhaps making them cross that line. And I hope that you know that if any of those team members of you end up in my feed, I will welcome them with the same sort of hospitality that I have towards you. And I think you're doing something great for the community, and thanks for that. And I think that uh, there's abundance in the world, man. We cannot comprehend how many humans there are here, and there is enough for everybody to eat. And if we can find a community to help each other, man, we can achieve so much more. So thanks for that, Igor. I think you're one of the key persons leading this. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And we rely on you, so we'll ask for help soon. One last question. So I ask it to everyone. What is your like tweet size message to building public community?
embrace imperfection.
Oh yeah, you have already a very great one. Yes, trust and imperfection.
Because Igor, you said it yourself. You made a post. You didn't even check for spell checks. You just went for it. You did it, and perfection is an illusion. It's a lie. You don't strive for it. You will never achieve it. It doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
just make progress. Just do something. Just say something. And that's it. So that's a bit more than tweet size, but I just think of so embrace imperfection. That's
Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, thank you.
Do it in public, you have nothing to hide. Start using the internet, join the ride.